Hi everyone, let's go over my high time frame, medium time frame and low time frame Elliott Wave scenarios on Bitcoin. Starting with my high time frame scenario where we expect a bit more downside before then continuation to the upside in a wave C or a wave 3. Looking for a 3-wave structure expanding flat in wave 2 or B, where the most common target for wave 2 is between the 0.5 and the 0.786 pulled from the low to the high of wave 1 or A, which also is a common target for a wave B, which is sitting between a 23.2k and 18.8k. Now inside of this area there's 3 specific areas that I like to talk to you about. The first one is a support area between the 0.5 and the golden pocket, which is the first blue box over here between 21.8k and 22.6k. The second one just below the golden pocket between 20.2k and 20.6k, and the last one around the 786 between 18.7k and 19.1k. Now what is interesting at the moment is that on my chart you can see that actually price over here did not take the low, but on Bybit, on the exchange, on the chart, Bybit actually took this low. And in the past I recorded many statistics of the different platforms and if the low is taken or not, and there's a very high probability that on all of the exchanges this low will eventually be taken. So you can expect still price to continue its move to the downside in the coming days or next week to at least take this low over here. If we then go to the support resistance areas, then currently we are finding some support at the support resistance flip that we have over here. It was previous support over here, turned into a bit of resistance, might act as a bit of support, but as you can see we bounced on one level lower, which was over here, resistance, again resistance, turn into support. So it might provide some support for the weekend range that is likely going to come up. But if we go through this to the next level, then the next level over here is around 22.4, 22.8k, which also is in confluence with the first blue support box that I've just told you about, which can be quite interesting. Now on the medium time frame, we are then looking for this expanding flat, a 3-wave structure in A, a 3-wave structure in wave B, which then is an expanding flat by itself, for then a wave C to the downside, currently working on a bigger wave 3, expecting still a wave 4, and then eventually a wave 5 to the downside, where the most common target for wave C is between the two 1.618s, which is between 23.4k and 22k, which again is in confluence with this first blue support box over here, which is very interesting indeed. A rare target for a wave C is the 2.618 all the way down here, which is at 18.1k. But first, let's observe if price can make it this low over here to the 1.618. Let's observe the reaction over there. If we look at the volume profiles, then we have finally reached the value area low that we've been talking about for a while now. So over here, we had a volume profile of this range. We also had a small one over here. After we broke out of this small volume profile, you can see we found support, a lot of support over here on the value area high of this previous range. And we then also found resistance of the value area low of this volume profile over here before now breaking it. And then once broken, the probability is high to go to at least the point of control and also to the value area low. And as you can see now over here on the daily, currently ranging around that value area low, which is very nice indeed for at least a little bit of support, which was also one of my support boxes sitting between 26.2k and 26.5k, which is where price is ranging at the moment. On the lower time frames, as we are looking for a bigger wave C towards the downside, we are then looking for impulsive structures, where this is currently what I'm looking for, a wave 1 over here in blue, wave 2 in blue, and then another 1-2 over here in white, for then a continuation to the downside in a big third wave. So we have a 1-2, 1-2, and then a big 3 to the downside, where the 1.618 in blue, taken from the high of wave 1 over here, from the high of wave 1 to the low of wave 1 to then the high of wave 2, is a common target for a blue wave 3, or actually a minimum target, because a wave 3 can be very extended. And also over here, the white Fibonacci over here is taken from the high of 2 to the low of the second one over here, the white one, to the high of the white 2, which is an extension target for a wave 3 as well. So that is all very nice. Now at the moment, because price is making a low on a very high amount of volume over here in this downtrend. Currently the highest amount of volume is in this low over here. One can expect this to not yet be the low of the wide 3, because even in the wide 3 over here you want to see a 5-wave structure to the downside, where wave 5 preferably has less volume than the low made in a wave like 3. So then you have a 3 still looking for 4 for another 5, so another move to the downside, but then on lower volume. And as you can see, this is typically wave 3 behavior. Price moving parabolic to a direction, in this case the downside, and volume moving to the upside. This is the perfect example of what I always talk about, that if you want to see a strong trend and a strong impulse, you want to see price moving parabolic while volume is moving to the upside. And this is a great example of what is actually happening. Therefore, because the highest amount of volume is made over here at the moment, one can still expect another low on lower volume, and that could then be a potential wave 5 to end the wide 3, for then a potential weekend range of the wide wave 4, so range for wave 4, eventually a 5 to then finish the blue 3, then you get a blue wave 4 and eventually another move to the downside in a wave 5. And we do have some support areas over here where price is now, it's been broken of course with the big wick, but we are now ranging inside this target box over here between 25.9k and 26k, a little bit of support. And also below this wide box has been touched once over here, where the weekly naked point of control was touched, but there are some more confluences in this area which haven't yet been touched, and this box is between 24.3k and 24.9k. Now, I like to talk about the CVD divergences as well as always, and this is important because I see many people constantly looking for bullish CVD divergences, but in my previous videos I've been talking about what happens in a trending environment and why bullish CVD divergences have a lower probability of playing out. So first time over here in the afternoon or yesterday morning, we saw bearish CVD, and eventually bullish CVD divergences. But at that moment in time, the highest amount of volume of the trend to the downside was in this low. Now, based on my experience and statistics, I know that the probabilities are lower for bullish CVD divergences to play out if in a trending environment, the low has the highest amount of volume at that moment in time, which is the case because you can see the volume increasing. And you also saw bearish CVD divergences, again bearish CVD divergences, and also over here, by the way. So there's downwards pressure. It's not really a great probability for the bullish scenario, and it's all about probabilities, right? Trading is about probabilities. And then also locally over here, yesterday we went live on YouTube, of course. We spoke about the CVD divergences locally, bearish CVD divergences. But yes, okay, again, you saw bullish CVD divergences on the chart, but what is the trend? You know, trend is heavy to the downside. And again, this low over here was at the time the highest amount of volume in this trend towards the downside. You can see the volume is increasing while price is moving down, lowering the probabilities for the bullish CVD divergences, and you also have bearish CVD divergences on the chart. And of course, in a trending environment, preferably the ones that are in line with the trend, like the divergences that are supporting the trend, are more important. So yeah, price eventually broke to the downside. Again, some more bearish CVD divergences, and that leaves us to where we are right now, where as it stands now, I've checked the divergences, but it's pretty much neutral at the moment, so we just wait patiently what is going to happen here. So if we then look at the probabilities of the different scenarios, then it wouldn't be surprising to you that already for a very long period of time, of weeks, we are looking for price to go to the downside. Of course, we couldn't know that price is going to move to the downside this impulsively, because first we were looking for a potential wave C over here, and then a 3-wave structure ABC. But that is the nice thing about Elliott waves. You only have to be in the right direction of the move. You don't have to try and figure out what the low is, because no one knows how low it is actually going. Everyone that is saying, oh, I knew this was happening. No, you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea. But from probabilities wise, we knew price was moving to the downside. Probabilities on the micro as well, as explained in the video yesterday. Also, when price was ranging here, the probabilities were higher for a move to the downside. And just because the probabilities are higher, we can continue expecting price to move down. Also, the volume is still increasing, which of course is a bearish sign, and we just take it as it comes. So at the moment, as it stands on the medium time frame, The highest probability scenario is of course still to look to the downside, as well as on the higher time frame moving to the downside over here. And on the low time frame and the micro, well, the weekend is coming up, so I'm actually looking for a bit of a wave 4 in the weekend, where, you know, potentially today we might maybe take this low over here, but I am looking for likely a ranging weekend to come for then a wave 4, and then next week we'll see what happens, of course. So I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. Please check out the most recent educational video I've made about the best trading indicator you can use, in my opinion, which is the CVD. And for now, thanks for watching and subscribing, and I'd like to see you at the next one. Bye bye.